Hey everyone, I am out here at Love Farm. I was moving the chickens around with the tractor, and yes, I'm pretty sure my wife thinks it's sexy, but you'd have to ask her. I had come up with 4 different reasons why we at Love Farm do not certify organic. And so I wanted to run through those quick and give you an idea of why we don't bother. So the first is the long travel of the grain. So most grain that is used or certified organic for animal consumption here in the United States is not from the United States. Most of it is shipped here from Asia. So we're looking at China, and we also have quite a bit coming from India. So we don't feel that that is a sustainable practice. We think that it's extractive, that it's really not a way to run a farming operation. If we're getting grain and it's coming from literally across the world, from the other side of the world, the amount of energy expelled, the amount of cost, the amount of effort to get that grain here, and the whole process, we think, is just a bad idea in general. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is, since it's coming from Asia and India, from China and India, we don't think that it's probably that high of quality. The first reason is because the nutrient value goes down as it sits in shipping containers, as it gets moved, because it's sitting around, and food nutrient value reduces over time as it sits and is stored. So we feel like the nutrient value of the food is going to be extremely low by the time it gets here. But the other issue is that since it's coming from these countries, the certification and verification processes are pretty questionable. And there's actually been a lot of this grain that has been found to be pesticide laden, so pesticide laden, herbicide, and other sprays and things that we don't want in our chickens, because we'll end up eating that when we eat them. So we're avoiding it because of the quality. We really question whether or not it's organic. In a lot of cases, in a lot of studies, it's been shown not to be. So reason number three is cost. Obviously, with all that shipping, there's added cost. With the certification process here in the United States, there's quite a bit of cost. So the people making the grains are going to incur a lot of costs that we then have to pay. And it doesn't actually mean that the product is better. It just simply means that it doesn't have certain things on it. So the nutrient quality of that feed isn't actually any better, but the cost is a lot more. So then the other side of it is, if we wanted to go organic, we would have to certify our farm as organic and have people out here certifying that the way we raise the chickens is organic. And that's extremely expensive, and it's a long process. And all of that leads me to my fourth point. So point number 4 is that we mostly consider it a meaningless label because we don't think it goes anywhere near far enough. The way that we raise our chickens, we put them on pasture. They get to move every day. They get sunlight. They get a circadian rhythm because they're introduced to sunlight. They're introduced to darkness at night. They get to eat fresh bugs, living bugs. They get to eat seeds that they pick straight off of the plant. They get to scratch in the ground and do chickeny things and run around and move. And if we were labeled organic, technically we could put many times the number of chickens that we have in the same space, indoors, under lights, only getting grain that's being shipped from China, and we could label it organic. But they'd be exposed to high amounts of ammonia, their own waste constantly. Their waste would be wasted. It would be a problem that somebody would have to deal with, as opposed to here, we're moving them around and their waste is no longer waste. It's actually a benefit. So we've determined that going organic, if we wanted to label our meat chickens as organic, we'd be participating in a really extractive process, a really destructive process to the earth, and we don't feel like it would add any benefit to the people buying them or to us when we eat the chickens. So we've opted out of the organic option. I guess one last thing I'd mention is that we are able to get our feed locally from an Amish community. We feel that the feed is much higher quality than the $24 a bag for a 40-pound bag of food at, say, Tractor Supply or the co-op if it's labeled organic. And instead what we get is non-GMO from the Amish community. We feel that the Amish community treats their fields and the way that they grow things and the way that they source things in a much better way than the organic feed that we would otherwise get. So that person needs a muffler. Anyways, we feel that the quality of the grain is quite a bit higher. The nutrient is denser. They do an incredible job mixing it and getting all the ratios correct. And we pay $9 for a 50-pound bag instead of $24 for a 40-pound bag. So we feel that all of these factors together make certifying organic useless and meaningless and of no real benefit. Obviously the cost of our chickens would be through the roof if we tried to do that. And on the scale that we're raising them, the additional cost for certification would make them completely unattainable to any average person. So those are our 4 reasons. I'll go through them once more quick. Number 1, the long travel of the grain. Number 2, questionable quality of the grain. Number 3, the cost. So the cost both for us to certify and to buy certified grain. And number 4 is that we find it to be mostly meaningless. Thanks for watching. We'll do some more videos and follow up with this, and I'm sure I'll have more thoughts and more videos about what we're doing here on the farm.